3. Depository financial instrument. Financial institutions are the major components of financial systems that provide the different type of financial service. It's are the broadly classified into two groups: depository financial institutions, non-depository financial institutions. Depository financial institutions. Institutions are those financial institutions that accept depository from the general public. Therefore, the deposits from general public are the principal source of funds for depository institutions. In concept of Nepal Rashtra Bank has classified depository financial institutions into the four categories. 1. Commercial bank, A class financial institutions. Development bank, class B financial institutions. Finance companies, class C financial institutions. Microfinance financial institutions, class D financial institutions. Major indicators of performance of depository institutions: profit rates 1 to 3. Returns of equity, net income, total income, equity. Return on assets, net income, total assets, equity multiple, total assets, total equity. Relationship between the ROA and ROE. ROE is equal to ROA into EM. Net income by total assets into total assets by total equity. ROA is equal to profit margin ratio into asset utilization ratio. Net income by total opening income into total operating income by total assets. Assets utilization ratio, total operating income by total assets. Profit margin ratio by the net income by the total operating income. Components of the marginal ratio to profit 1 to 4. Interest expenses ratio. Interest expenses total operating income in Parliament. Charge ratio in Parliament. Charge from loan losses total operating income. Non-interest expenses ratio. Non-interest expenses total operating income. Tax ratio. Income tax total operating income. Components of the assets utilizations. Interest income ratio is equal to interest income by total assets. Non-interest income ratio is equal to non-asset interest income by the total assets. Other profit ratio. Net interest margin, net interest income, earning assets. Net interest margin. Interest income is equal to interest expenses, investment securities plus net loan and less spread is equal to interest income by earning assets minus interest expenses, interest bearing liabilities, overhead efficiency ratio, non-interest income, non-interest expenses. Ratio RIXMA, provision for loan loss ratio in Parliament. Charge from the loan losses, total loans and advance. Loan ratio is equal to net loans, total assets. Non-performing loan ratio NPL ratio, non-performing loan and advance, total loans and advance. Net charge off, gross charge off, recoveries. RT is equal to R0 minus GT plus PT plus RT, where RT, RO, GT, PT, YT. Liquidity ratio formula. Temporary investment ratio, temporary investment by total assets. Volatile dependency ratio, total volatile liabilities, temporary investment, net loan and long-term securities. Other financial ratio. Tax ratio, total tax paid, total income before taxes. Gap ratio, IRS assets minus IRS liabilities, total assets, where R RS assets, interest rate sensitivity assets. IRS liability, interest rate sensitivity liabilities, risk adjust return on capital. RA ROC, capital charge, equity capital allocated to loan and opportunity cost of equity, 1 plus tax rate. Economics value added, adjust earning opportunity cost of capital, where adjust earning net income after tax. Opportunity cost of capital, cost of equity capital into equity capital problem, calculation of ROE, net income total common equity. एनएमबी ब्याङ्क आरओई राखेर निकाल्नु पर्ने हुन्छ टोटल कमन इक्विटी शेयर क्यापिटल प्लस रिजर्भ एन्ड फन्ड्स क्यालकुलेसन अफ आरओए नेट इन्कम बाई टोटल एसेट्स एमबिए ब्याङ्कको आरओए निकाल्ने एमबी ब्याङ्कको आरओए निकाल्ने क्यालकुलेट इक्वालिटी मल्टिपल गर्ने better performance because it has the higher ROA and ROE than the NMB भनेर पत्ता लगाएको हुन्छ त्यसरी क्यालकुलेसन अफ नेट इन्ट्रेस्ट मार्जिन रेसियोमा इन्ट्रेस्ट इन्कम माइनस इन्ट्रेस्ट एक्सपेन्सिभ इन्भेस्टमेन्ट सेक्युरिटिज प्लस नेट लोन एन्ड लिसेस अब यसकोमा चाहिँ जिबिआइएमईको र एनआइएम रेसियो भयो एनआइएसीको निकालेको छैन क्यालकुलेसन अफ द स्प्रेड रेसियो भयो spread ratio interest income by earning assets minus interest expenses interest bearing liabilities earning assets minus investment securities plus net loan and losses interest bearing liabilities interest bearing depository GBIME spread ratio NICA spread ratio NIA ratio measures the net return of the bank earning assets and spread ratio is the difference between the average yield of earning assets and average cost of interest bearing liabilities. The higher net interest margin ratio and the spread ratio implies the more profitability of the bank. Both of these measures are higher of GBIM bank. Calculation overhead efficiency ratio, non-interest income by non-interest expenses GBIM को overhead efficiency ratio हो त्यो यो overhead efficiency ratio NICA को निकालेर चाहिँ यदि लोन छ भने क्यालकुलेटमा नेट लोन एन्ड टोटल एसेट्स निकालेर दुईटैको ब्याङ्कको निकाल्न सक्नुहुन्छ प्रब्लम 3 पनि त्यस्तै हो प्रोभिजन फर द लोन लस रेसियोको प्रोभिजन फर लोन लसेस र टोटल लस एन्ड एडभान्स गरेर प्रोभिजन फर द लोन लस रेसियो निकाल्नुहोस् यदि क्यालकुलेट टोटल लोन्स एन्ड एडभान्स छ भने सबै राखेर टोटल लोन एडभान्स निकाल्नु होला फर एनआइबिएलको प्रोभिजन लस लोन रेसियोको आउँछ यसरी एनपिएल यसरी अरूको पनि निकालेको छ क्यालकुलेसन अन पर्फर्मिङ लोन रेसियो एनपिएलको पनि प्रब्लम 3 को पनि राम्रोसँग हेरेर यसलाई गर्नु होला प्रब्लम 3.12 को लोन अमाउन्ट total charge before capital charge, opportunity of equity, income tax, interest of loan, equity capital on loan, calculation of economic value added राख्ने, interest income, working note भयो. पज गरेर हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ र क्यालकुलेसन अफ द नन इन्ट्रेस्ट इन्कम रेसियोहरूको यसरी टोटल एसेट राखेर ब्याङ्कको इन्कम रेसियो छुट्याएर गर्नुहोला. क्यालकुलेसन अफ स्प्लिट रेसियोहरू पनि हुन्छ.